Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the Deathlog add-on. This was a community-based add-on, I think, for the death notifications before the hardcore servers came out. It tracked hardcore deaths that the community was having. They don't track them anymore, but the data's a little bit old. I'd be curious, now that the player base has matured a little bit, if the numbers would look any different. But again, with time, there's always an influx of new players coming in that may repeat some of the same old mistakes. But either way, we're going to be making some videos based off of the deadliest mobs in each zone. I thought it'd be fun to look at this add-on. It's one of the few add-ons that tracks data, and we'll go through it together and see if we learn anything. And so, right out of the gate, you see falling is the #1 statistic for killing people. So, I think there's going to be this trend of you are your own worst enemy coming into this thing. Let's start in Kalimdor. Let's just go top left all the way down. And in Teldrassil, we're looking at Lord Melanus is #1. This is crazy. I think Kevin Jordan died to this mob on his first hardcore character. And it's actually a druid NPC with cat form at level 8. So, especially for druids that hit level 20, that's where all your white damage, your DPS comes from. Imagine fighting a level 8 NPC that turns into a cat. And then falling's #2. Going down to Darkshore, we've got a pretty even race with Murlocs, bears, drowning, and moonstalkers. I've actually died to moonstalkers before. But the way Darkshore is mapped out, it kind of goes from the middle outward, and the level range of the mobs goes up. These moonstalkers are freaking fast. So you try and disengage once or twice, a moonstalker will get the killing blow on you. But yeah, Murlocs. Murlocs are difficult. Anything pretty much kills you in the starting zone, I feel like. You're too low level, you don't have any skills or abilities. Let's look at Ashenvale. We've got befouled water elementals. This is like a high, dense questing area in the water, too. So that may have something to do. If you pull 1 or 2 extra mobs, it's hard to disengage. These water elementals are really difficult. And you know what I think it is? There's like 1 or 2 patrolling water ellies. Like on the island, and then you have Tidris. Any area that you have mobs that patrol makes it really difficult. And then falling's actually #2. Maybe from Ordanus right here. People trying to run away. Let's look at Felwood. We've got Jadenar, my favorite questing area. Jadenar Legionnaires. There's not that many kills tracked here. I wish we saw this updated. But like I said, I think this was years ago. Before they got a lot of data on what... You know, there wasn't a lot of people dying in higher level zones. And so I think that the data's a little bit skewed. But again, this looks like one of the first cave areas. If you ever go in caves, obviously. It's difficult to disengage. But I think like Jadenar Adepts, I would say this is the most dangerous. It kind of sneaks up on you. It's an NPC. It's a spellcaster that normally will cast like a fireball. But it's always the ones that do like a flame strike or a fire blast that sneaks up on you or you're not anticipating. And so, looking at Winterspring. Again, not that many kills here. You've got Watery Invader. I don't think this is in the hardcore servers right now. This is a later phase thing. But again, water elementals. Yo, rest in peace, Crix. Shardtooth Mauler. You've got a patrol here. Just not that many people going through Winterspring. So the invasion's the scariest. Moonglade. We've got 23 kills. 10 druids drowning doing their water form quest. And 13 druids getting curious, trying to run out of Moonglade. Let's go with Azshara. You've got falling. I'm kind of surprised this isn't #1. It seems like there's nothing that kills you. I'm surprised there isn't like the patrolling giants here. There's no quests, man. Nothing sends you down here. But the one place that people do go to is the Blood Elves, these Reclaimers. So especially in the higher level areas, you run out of quests. You've got these 1, 2, 3 levels where you just need to grind mobs. And I think these mobs have like the lowest health, lowest armor value. So it's a really popular place to grind. But they do a lot of damage. There aren't any patrols, but I guess it's just people falling asleep, grinding hours at a time. Dying to something like that. If we look at Stonetalon, we've got Desolace, #1. This is actually a really difficult elite. I think that there's other... I can't think of another quest that has just a normal elite mob. Maybe it's the level range, but I feel like Desolace definitely hits harder than normal elites, normal NPCs. And then you've got Windshear Diggers. Dude, you know what it is? There's one quest that pops up on Questy. It's an escort. And people see that and they think they can come in here and do it. This is the Cave of Death, brother. There's another cave down here that's really scary. Taking a look at the Barrens. We've got Kolkar Invaders. Tied with Raptors, Hyenas, and Kolkar. If I had to guess, one of the most dangerous areas, it's around these 3 oases. And it's because there's patrolling Kolkar. There's one guy, a centaur that's running around, and then he's got 1 or 2, sometimes 3 hounds, which is crazy if you're not anticipating it. You can get up to like 4 mobs pulled on top of you. I'm surprised Kolkar Invaders #1, because these mobs only get spawned if you complete the quest chain. It's like kill a centaur here, here, and here, turn it in, and then it summons these mobs, which they don't even really move around the map, but I'm surprised this is #1. Yo, Sunscale Scytheclaw, this is neat. I think this is the 3rd raptor that you encounter in level ranges. There's 2 previous to this that don't have Thrash, and so then you get to this 3rd tier, level 16 to 18, something like that. But this is the first raptor that does have Thrash, and the difference between a mob having Thrash and not having it is huge. It's kind of interesting. It makes sense that this is the #1 NPC that kills you here. I was thinking maybe the Night Elves would be on this list, but yeah, these are way more popular. The Raptors make sense. Let's look at Mulgore. Yo, Snagglespear. Not even close. Let's be honest, dude. Mulgore's pretty tame. There's not much moving around. I died to a Kodo one time, and I didn't even realize it was social with Planestriders. That was a lesson learned that day. But yeah, there's nothing really that kills you in Mulgore. Snagglespear. Dude, I can barely kill Snagglespear at level 8 on a Druid. I don't know that you could kill it on a Hunter. Don't think you could kill him on Warrior. You just don't have enough damage. Shaman's like the only NPC that could kill Snagglespear at 7 or 8. But yeah, that's neat to see him #1. Let's look at Durotar, Gazoos, Voidwalker Minion, and Burning Blade Apprentice. Skull Rock, you got me. Winky made a song about Skull Rock. It killed so many hardcore characters in the past. He made a rap out of it. Oh, is there anything in Orgrimmar? No way. I didn't even know you could look here. Yo, Gammon has 124 kills in fire. Yo, that's hilarious. Now I need to go look at all the cities. I didn't realize these were tracked in Deathlog. I don't think you can grief from fall damage. People, would cast Fortitude on players as they were falling, but I don't think this normally gave you enough health to kill you. Maybe if you, took a mage portal at the end of a dungeon and you're running into the Valley of Strength and fall. I don't know how you die to fall damage here. Or you go up the flight path, fall, run back up, and fall right away again. That's crazy. And 29 people dying to fire. That's weird too. How do you die to fire without regening health? I feel like you have to be less than level 10 and AFK on top of a fire. Now let's look at Thunderbluff. Yeah, obviously he's going to be falling, right? Yo, this is cool. Everybody going to the Elder Rise. That's funny. Yeah, this isn't even an elevator. Here's one elevator. Here's the main elevator. And then you've just got... This is the most popular bridge. There's lots of quests that go to the Elder Rise. And the Druid Trainer. Shout out to the Druids, baby. Now I got to look at Darnassus drowning. 22 kills, imagine. 13 people falling. Oh, and then a Screecher killed someone. Yo, that's pretty funny. I don't know if there's guards at the beginning of Darnassus, but I could see someone pulling a bird and trying to get help from a guard. But guards don't help you whenever you're fighting passive mobs, or the yellow mobs, right? Non-hostile ones. That was kind of funny. Let's look at Desolace. You've got Undead Ravagers and Drowning. I wonder if these drowning deaths are related to people disconnecting at all. I know the servers at some point were a little unstable. Would kill people moving up and down the y-axis. X-axis, whatever the fuck. And then Undead Ravager. These mobs hit pretty hard. Dense questing area. I think Scarlet Monastery pre-quest is here for Alliance. So, The logic checks out. We look at Feralas. We've got Serpent Guards. Fatigue. Yo, another shout out to Winky. Died to Fatigue one time. Imagine dying to Fatigue at like level 40. Painful. A few falling deaths. Handful of drowning deaths. And then there's no reason why... There's no other reason, I think, why these mobs have more deaths other than other NPCs in the zone. I think people just grind here. I know in Rested XP, they tell you to grind here for 3 or 4 levels. I think people just spend the most amount of time, which is why they end up dying to these two. They just fall asleep watching a movie. Watching Netflix. Dustwallow Marsh? No way. No way. It's not just Murlocs. Yo, it's gotta be Theramore Isle. It's gotta be. I saw Jerome die to this one time. No freaking way Coral Shark is number 1. It's not even close, dude. One of those deaths were mine. 1,000 Needles. Falling. 401 kills. Jeez. Again, you are your own worst enemy. And then Scalding Elementals. Bro, this area is tough. There's 2 types of Ellies here. I guess they just have a ton of damage. I think one of them stuns too. And it's in water. Yo, that's just like Ashenvale. These water elementals. Water elementals and water. Not a good combination. Let's look at Tanaris. Got Wastewander Rogues. Spellcasters. Yeah, I mean, I guess a rogue popping up, not being there whenever you're not anticipating it. That makes sense. Ungoro Crater. Most of it's falling damage. Just trying to save a little bit of time. That's crazy. Yo, and then Devil Swords are number 1. That makes sense. You're normally questing here at like 52 or 53. I think the Devil Swords get up to like 55, and you aggro one of them. You might, you know, if they're 3 levels higher, do crushing blows to you. And their 300 auto attacks turn into like 450, and you really can't leash these guys. You can't outrun them. And then Silithus, there's hardly any stats here. But yeah, Death Clasp. This is probably top 5 hardest quest in the game. Even being geared while leveling, if you keep your character healthy the whole time, Death Clasp is really difficult. Let's take a look at Eastern Kingdoms. We'll do the same thing. We'll start up here. We've got Cursed Darkhounds and Oracles. I never quest through here in Falling. From the Zeppelin. No shots. Again, player-driven is the number 1 reason why people are dying. That's pretty close with these 2 guys. Yeah, I never quested Tirisfal Glades. Silverpine, Son of Arugel. I think this is like the only zone that has an elite. It's like a skull level elite, just chilling in a questing area. I don't think any other zone has that. That's a painful lesson to learn as soon as you go to Silverpine Forest. Let's look at Alterac Mountains. The number 1 is Dalaran Shield Guards. Yeah, I feel like this is a knowledge check. This got me on my druid whenever I played hardcore. I don't know how many other mobs have this. I think the other mob that uses this ability, might be the only one, is in Stranglethorn Vale. In the top right area, in that cave. But they have this reflect where they just stand still, and your auto attacks, I think you end up dealing damage. It's like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? You'll kill yourself really fast on like a rogue or a druid that has a lot of auto attacks. It's crazy. And then you've got the dragon. Number 2. I think this dragon patrols... It's acting like it patrols over here. I swear I've never seen it patrol this way. Some people tell me it does. Or someone's told me that they've seen it patrol. Because I thought this was like a safe area to fish. Someone said that the dragons patrolled here before. Anyways, maybe I'll have to track it one day. Let's look at Hillsbrad. You've got Terranmill Death Guards. Oh, that wasn't the guard I thought. Thought it would be this area. What's the name of them? Nope, Terranmill Death Guard's number 1. So just Alliance players running up by Terranmill. I think there might be some patrolling guards, or is this just people running into the guards up here? I normally play Horde. I'm not used to playing Alliance and running up this way. I'm not familiar where the guards are exactly by memory. Got Arathi Highlands, Witherbark Headhunter, clear number 1. Not the only cave. There's a couple of caves in Arathi Highlands. But not even these guys show up here. Alright. Let's look at Hinterlands. Got Vilebranch, Amanzi Guards, Falling, Vile Priest Hex. So, like, Jinta Lore is the most popular. Yeah, it's dangerous. There's not a lot of data here. I wonder what this would look like on the current hardcore servers. I feel like this list will be way different. It's hard for me to trust these higher level zones. Speaking of higher level zones, Western Plaguelands has Skeletal Flayer and Venomous Lurker. Enslaver and Ghouls. All just like the first questing area you go to. I'm surprised it's not one of those mobs at this tent right here. Ends up being Skeletal Flayers. Eastern Plaguelands. Fallen Hero. This is people looting blood of heroes. I'm pretty sure if you don't premeditate this kill, if you just pull a blood of heroes, you loot it from the ground, and you're not ready for it, there's like a 90% chance you're going to die. They hit super hard, and they slow you for 60 seconds. I don't think you can dispel it either. That's kind of funny that Fallen Hero is number 1, though. And then you've got Crypt Scarabs. People trying to run through this cave. And the spiders at net. Next we've got Wetlands. Young Wetlands Crocs are number 1. Wetlands Crocs. And then Dragon Maw Raiders. I wonder if this is from people doing the Wetland skip. So, Rested XP, or like a leveling guide on YouTube, there's a pretty popular skip. You can go from Dunmoreau. This is for Alliance characters that want to quest in Darkshore. Yeah, because I think Darkshore is just peak questing for speed. But a lot of times guides will tell you to do the Wetland skip. And they just died a Crocolis. That has to be what it is. That has to be what it is. Because I feel like something like, yeah, Dragon Maw Raiders, this should be the number 1 mob that kills you. Again, I want to see updated stats on this, man. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. We've got Stone Splinter Seers, Scouts, Tunnel Rats, and Geomancers. So the 2 questing areas. Dude, these are just high dense areas. And really just high dense areas, and you're too low level. You have no gear, no abilities. It's the first time that you leave the starting zone. I swear, just the white damage alone from the starting zone to like the level 10 area, like Loch Modan, it's double. You're taking twice as much damage is what it feels like. And the mobs run twice as fast. But yeah, no secret here. Dunmoreau, we've got Wendigos. Our first cave. I feel like these mobs respawn really fast. Or maybe it just takes a long time to kill them at this level. You've got Rockjaw Bone Snappers. You know, the only reason Bone Snappers aren't number 1 is because Wendigos killed them before they made it. Before they made it over there. But they're both in cave areas. And I think these guys stun. Which, if you're not expecting it, it gets out of hand real quick. Next, we're going to look at Badlands. Zeracodal, number 1. Not even close. There's no way. How's Zeracodal number 1? I guess this is from butt pulling him. Because nobody attempts to pull Zeracodal. It's like a skull level bird too, whenever you're fighting it. Yeah, I guess this is just from people not seeing the bird. That's surprising. I didn't think this would be the number 1 NPC. Huh. Well, let's look at Ironforge. Of course, lava. A couple people died of fire. Again, that's crazy. It's all right next to the flight path, too. Look at that. And then just people falling into the forge. Rest in peace, Mitch Jones. That's funny, man. That is funny. We got Searing Gorge, Dark Iron Sentries. And then Falling. Yo, there is like a hole that you can fall into right here. And then I remember seeing there's a bridge right here that everybody quests on. A Parla ended up falling. It takes like 70% of your health. So if you're running away from, you know, one of the elites in this tower and you fall through that bridge, it looks like one of the hot spots for it too. That makes sense. Let's go just below. Burning Steps. We've got Obsidian Elementals and Falling. There's like no data here though. I feel like you can't really trust this. How is this the number one? Is this really from low levels peaking from Red Ridge Mountains? No way. That's kind of funny. Speaking of Red Ridge, we've got the Whelps. That's what I thought was going to be number one. And then Outrunners are right behind it. I wonder if Blackrock Outrunners, if it's just one spot. Because I feel like it's not necessarily these orcs. So there's 2 or 3 types of orcs. I bet it's all focused right here, just outside of Lake Shire Inn. Is what kills them all. Dude, there's like 3 orcs hiding behind a rock, and they net. If you're like level 14 running by it, you pull those guys, you're done. And then the whelps, dude, these are tough. The whelps are actually really hard to see in the zone, and you don't realize a whelp is hitting you until it's already hit you once with a fireball, and it's got a second one coming, and they hit for like 20%. While you're probably attacking another mob. Looking at Elwynn Forest, we've got Kobold Miners. It's not even close. It's not even close. Your first cave. Welcome to hardcore. That's kind of poetic. I like that. I like that. Your first quest that you go to, you're in a cave, high dense area, you're dead. Westfall, we've got Defias Trappers and Pillagers. I think they said Pillagers were the number 1 NPC that killed people back in the day. There was a stat. Random stat. And then in hardcore, I feel like people knew that Pillagers were difficult, and so they were kind of on high alert around them. But I feel like people didn't know about the Trappers. Or if you had never played hardcore previously, you realized how dangerous nets became. And mobs that net you. So it's kind of cool to see Defias Trapper number 1 here by a pretty big margin. And then Harvest Watchers. These mobs, I swear, hit harder than regular level 15s. Looking at Duskwood, we've got Stitches, number 1, no shots. And more Ladim. Eliza's Guard. Yo, these are all quest NPCs. This is cool, man. I didn't think that Stitches would be number 1. I didn't think it would be this high. I mean, maybe down here. You don't even have... The thing is, you don't even have to kill Stitches. That's what's funny about it. I don't think there's any quest. I think the only way he gets spawned by turning in a quest. That's really funny that he's number 1. And then more Ladim. Yeah, this guy will sneak up on you. Oh, speaking of, this is like Son of Argul. I think he's like 10 levels higher. That's what it feels like. He's level 35, and the other guys are like 29, 30, 31. So maybe not 10, but he's red. And aggro's from a long ways away. We've got Swamp of Sorrows. Lost One Rift Seekers. This is from the Escort quest. Yeah, super high dense area. Guess the logic checks out here. And then Somnus. That's pretty funny. I've never pulled Somnus in hardcore. I've seen a lot of clips. If you pull this guy, I think it runs as fast as a Devil Sword, or flies as fast as one, and hits extremely hard. So there's really no getting out of it. Dude, I've maybe seen one hardcore clip of a guy escaping a pull, and it was a warrior that had nifty stopwatch. I want to say he had Swiftness Potion as well, because this is a high-level mob, and it doesn't leash right away. I feel like he shield-walled, nifty stopwatch, Swiftness potted away. Yeah, I've only seen that happen one time, though. We've got Blasted Lands. Hellboy, Son of Argul, that's weird. And Teramis, of course, Scary Terry. Yo, these Hellboys hit hard. I remember Cargo's talking about it back in the day. They have like a blast wave, right? So they charge and have a blast wave. Literally boars from hell. And Scary Terry. Scary Terry. Deadwind Pass. Sky Shadow, the only mob in the game. I like how 3 people died to falling. That's weird that they died down here, though. Maybe running away from the birds. And then we've got STV. No way. Zanzil Skeletons? Is that what I think it is? No way. It is. Bro, this is a mob that's summoned from a totem for a quest. Now, I don't even know that you don't even really pull this guy. It's while you're grinding Zanzil's mixtures, and you pull the main boss guy. I don't even know that there's a quest related to it. But if you don't kill this totem that he spawns, it summons endless Zanzil skeletons. I actually died to this at like 47 one time. That was cool. I did not see that being the #1 NPC deaths in STB. That was neat. I think that was all of the zones on the Deathlog add-on. Yo, if you liked the video, if you liked our takes, had something to say about some of the deaths, put it in the comment section. Like, dislike, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.